time to make our way back to Richmond Yard and drop off these coal hoppers.
There's been a change of plans. Rusty, can you take these coal hoppers back to Richmond yourself? I've got another job for the new guy. I need both of you to make your way down to the junction at the bottom of this branch line. Once you get through the junction and get clear of it, stop and decouple the rear locomotive so the new guy can jump in. At that point, Rusty, you drive this train back to Richmond Yard. Newbie, you take the rear locomotive and head to Parker's yard and wait for further instructions.
Wow, driving solo already. Try and remember your train controls, as it seems I'm not going to be around to tell you too much more today. Alright, let's get moving. Put it into forward, release the brake, and give it a little throttle. This branch line, there's a signal before the bridge. Make sure it's green before you proceed.
There's a red signal up ahead. Take it nice and slow so you can stop before the red signal. Once the signal turns green, you can continue on up the hill.
Is that you making your way down from Gilbert's, Rusty?
Hey Chuck, did you just come from Richmond?
Yeah, I'm making my way down to Parker's.
Not sure if you've met the new guy, but he's heading that way also.
I'm not stopping at Parker's today, but I'm sure we'll bump into one another.
The signal's now green. You can continue up the hill and stop where indicated. You might need to give it some throttle as the train is pretty heavy. apply the train brakes so you can decouple the rear loco, and I'll be on my way.
No defects. Total axle or
Decouple the rear locomotive using the menu button and selecting decouple mode. When in decouple mode, use the left and right D-pad.
dispatch, it's Morel here at 5, over. Like to activate TCS number 3.
You take the rear locomotive to Parker's, and I'll drive this train back to Richmond Yard. Good luck.
Alright, 3536.
Ah, the first time you drive on your own. How exciting. Don't worry, I'll give you some guidance if you need it. You'll need to change the junction so you can make your way down to Parker's yard. Good work. Now follow this line all the way to the yard and park the loco there.
Alright, 35. That's what I have. So, yeah, we'll do it here in just a minute.
Okay, roger that.
Make sure to keep an eye on the track profile to make sure your next signal isn't red. If it is, make sure you stop before entering the upcoming block. the yard, pull up next to those tankers.
Good for 12. Milepost 26.4. Lane 2, no defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axle 24 out.
I need to head over to CSX G4 the full coal hoppers. You'll be taking that one back to Richmond Yard. But before you leave, though, I'll need you to collect those tank cars. Drive forward and stop up ahead, and I'll change the junctions for you. Once the junctions are switched, you can slowly reverse in and couple to the tankers. Reverse slowly and couple to the tank cars. Remember, you can use your left thumbstick to move up and down the train. You might want to make your way to the rear of the train to easily make the connection.
Very northeast. Hey, you want to get your side of ring? Trying to get the reservation. I'm not getting one for you.
Well done. You also need to couple to the locomotive you drove here. Okay, now move forward again and stop up ahead. I'll switch the junctions so you can reverse and couple to the loco. slowly and couple to the loco. You can always detach from the train with your left bumper and roam around for a better angle, then attach back to the train when you're done.
Auburn Yard to the Q train. Yeah, come on in, track 5, drop the conductor up at the north end. You'll cut the power off and hang a Fred there at the north end, and you'll continue on south, and I'll get a conductor right at the top there. And 253 will be out there to take the power off and pull you guys down to the
That looks to be everything. Time to head up and over the pass, which will take you back to Richmond. This train is going to be a lot heavier than the one you drove here. You'll need to be extra careful with your train handling on the inclines and declines.
Yeah, that's correct. And you'll hang a Fred there at the north end as well.
Bit of a problem.
Yeah, Rusty? What's that?
I was meant to collect some center beam flat cars on my way over past Peabody, but I forgot.
Really, Rusty? Sometimes I wonder how you're still a train driver. Alright, newbie. Looks like you'll need to collect those center beams. I'll give you clear instructions when the time comes.
But yes, you're right behind it, over. Thanks. Batch out.
center beam cars up ahead. Now reverse slowly and couple to the center beam cars. Continue up and over past Peabody and down into Richmond Yard. There's an oncoming train and red signal up ahead. A red signal means danger. It's not safe to enter the block ahead. Now apply the train brake and stop before the red signal. Signal passed at danger, or SPAD, refers to a driver failing to stop before a red signal. If you SPAD, then there will be a review and you could be dismissed. Signals are very important to the railroad. Signals oversee specific segments of railroad track, also known as rail blocks or block sections. The block signals are crucial for maintaining safe distances between trains and effectively managing railway traffic. Signals associated with these block sections indicate whether the block ahead is occupied or free. This dictates whether you should proceed, slow down, or stop. The track profile lets you see your train's position relative to any signals ahead, and also the current state of the signals you're approaching. Wait until the train has cleared the block section ahead. When the signal changes to green, you can proceed forward.
Who's driving that heavy freight train today?
Oh, hey Miles, yeah, that's the new train driver. They're doing pretty well. I'm pretty impressed with how they've handled the inclines around here.
Excellent, we need more top train drivers. I passed Rusty on the way up. He said he was on his way to Richmond Yard.
Well, since he forgot to pick up the flat cars on his run, I'd expect him to be there already. Hey Miles, you got any advice for the newbie?
I don't have much advice, other than be sure to blow your horn when you pass other trains.
You'll be pretty tight there, Brett.
Yes, sir. That's the right engineer for it. TR20715 is model. Okay.
sure to watch your speed on this downhill section. You're speeding. Slow your train down and stick within the speed limits.
Good for 3 here.
Need 2 more, TR.
UP Omaha Dispatch 1, TMBL 4001, over.
You got, that'll do there, TR. TMBL 4001 answering over.
Yeah, where are you at, over?
Got 1 more car to put here in the bin, then we'll be tied it down and cutting away over.
Okay, alright, thanks. Gotcha. Sure. 09 medium.
Here we go, way in 901. Clear.
Well done. It's all pretty flat for the rest of the way. impressed with how you've managed to handle this heavy freight train today. I think you've got a bright future ahead of you being a train driver. That said, the job isn't over. Follow the nav points into the yard. I've made sure all the junctions are set correctly.
And in between them, yeah.
Roll on into the yard and park the train in line with that loader over there.
7091.
Oh, just a heads up, we're gonna just hang back a little bit. Hopper's full. I got the Q train cutting off some DP power. We can't get to until that Q train leaves. They just pulled in, so we're just gonna hang back here for a little while. When that Q train is getting ready, we'll start making our way up there.
Detector, milepost 10.1. Main 1, no defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axle 330 out.
Okay, Auburn, looks like usual. We gotta wait for the queue to do a power set out there, and then they get spot, they gotta go ahead.
Yep, same old junk, new day.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay, thanks for the heads up.
I'm impressed you made it back on your own. Well done.
Yeah, you might just be getting the hang of this train driving thing. Nice work. Head home for the day, and tomorrow we can break down the cars for pickup.